Hi guys, it's Alex here, back again with our podcast for Fit Body Ladies. This is, I think, number 6. And we are loving doing this podcast, and I hope you guys are enjoying listening to us too. So if you're liking us, please subscribe, follow, and join us in our community, learning from us, tips, techniques about losing weight, getting fitter, getting healthier. And today we're actually going to talk about aches and pains, and very kindly I have got Alun Walker here from Daventry Chiropractic Clinic, and I'm going to be talking to him about chiropractic treatments and how they help. Talk about the naysayers who sometimes are against chiropractic treatments, and really discuss how he got into it, what sort of treatments he offers, and how he believes can benefit women of throughout, while they're doing exercise, or they maybe have an injury or just feeling a little bit achy. So let's kick it off then. Alun, please tell us, firstly, introduce yourself and tell me how you got into chiropractic treatment.
So my name's Alun Walker. I'm a doctor of chiropractic. I've been working now for the last 12 years. I'm the age 53 at present, 54 in May the 30th. Send your cards, thank you.
Yeah.
I've been working as a chiropractor in Daventry for the last 2 years. Before that, I was working in the home counties.
Okay.
So for a very large chiropractic company, where we were people were coming in and receiving adjustments, what people would understand as treatments.
Yeah.
And we would offer these to the general public within 8 different clinics. Like I say, throughout the home counties, sort of Maidenhead, Marlow, all the way through into London, 8 different clinics, and we would see 3,500 people a week.
Jeez, a lot of people.
So that's a lot of people there, wealthy areas, who were obviously concerned with their health. And I can't name celebrities, but there was a lot of celebrities that would come to the clinics throughout those different clinics. So people are taking an interest in their health, whether they are struggling with money or they have got a lot of it. And actually you certainly find people who are doing well, look after their body, they go to the gym, personal trainers, and chiropractic is one of the functional ways of actually changing your body for the better. Okay,
so let's go back, let's say, to your teens. What did you immediately when you were 18 think, I want to be a chiropractor? Or what was your kind of career history that led you to becoming a chiropractor?
So my father was a pipe fitter.
Okay.
So working with metal, I used to work with him during my summer holidays, the days where you could throw a child in the back of a van and travel, halfway through the country at 4 o'clock in the morning and get them to do all sorts of fiddly work with threading pipes, etc. So that's the sort of work I did. And from that, I went on to move into metal work. So I went to Hereford Technical College and I trained as a blacksmith.
Okay.
So there I was.
Shoeing horses and
black. That's farriery.
Oh, that's farriery. Okay.
Yep. So as a blacksmith, we were there welding, agricultural engineering, etc., repairing things. See the theme with the things going, repairing things. And so I was there at Hereford Technical College doing lots of forging. It was a great experience. I was there for nearly 2 years. And when I left there, I got myself a job at George James and Sons Blacksmiths.
Right.
And I'd been working there for from 17 through to sort of 20, something like that. When I left there, I went to work for English Heritage. And I worked with English Heritage for 10 years down in London at Regent's Park. And I was repairing historic gates, so Kensington Gardens gates. So I was working, and we were eventually made redundant from the blacksmith's forge, which was in the centre of Regent's Park. And I started my own business. During that time, I worked doing blacksmithing, stonemasonry.
Okay.
I know we're a little bit off where you thought we were going to be going with this, but repairing things.
Okay.
And I've started my own business, like I said. I was employing 8 people, and we worked all over the country. And that was my first vocation, really, restoration of historic properties. But during that time, from the age of 20, I'd been seeing sports therapists, chiropractors, osteopaths. And
for your own
this wasn't for
injuries.
health. This was for injuries of my back through doing heavy work.
Okay.
And a lot of craftspeople, you'll find they do the same. They can't afford to take too much time off. They're looking to get better as soon as possible. And obviously, if you go and see your GP, painkillers aren't always going to do the trick, because they're just painkillers.
Yeah.
So what we're looking to do is to find people that can actually help us with that. And I also used gyms, so boxing clubs, sparring regularly, that sort of thing. And that's always been something I've done as well, kept up with sport to keep myself fit, so I was able to do the work I was doing. So where we eventually got to, I got to the age of, I was in my 30s, about 34, and I went to visit my mother in America after I'd done a double shift with some of the lads that I was employing. And I was just heavily fatigued, and my mother lives in St. Louis, so I flew across to America, to New York, stayed 6 hours there, then took a flight from New York to St. Louis where she lives, stayed up all day with them, and I was heavily fatigued, very broken. The following day, I couldn't get out of bed. So they took me to their doctor, Dr. Ray, chiropractor, and he treated me in a different way to the GP, or actually some of the chiropractors and osteopaths I'd seen in this country, where he said to me, this is going to be a long-term situation. It's not just fatigue, but you've built up dysfunction throughout your life so far. And it's going to take a lot to sort it out. You're going to need to have some regular care. He said, I can't offer you that. You're only going to be here for this next sort of 10 days. Okay. He said, but I can see you a couple of times. And then when you go back, go and see a podiatrist, because I'd broken a foot during my life.
But unaware of that?
Oh, no, I'd broken my foot in my 20s, and had all the care I needed for it at the time. But it meant that my arch was, I'd lost my arch in my left foot. And it seemed a good idea, he suggested, that I saw a sports therapist to loosen me off, and see a chiropractor straight away, or an osteopath. And I liked the way that he gave me the choice of both. He wasn't going to just say, just chiropractic, it's the only way forward.
Okay.
But he was looking at different modalities to actually help me get better.
So just to explain then, what is the difference between a chiropractor and osteopath?
Okay, the difference between a good, excellent chiropractor and an excellent osteopath is pretty much nothing.
Okay.
There'll be people that will be a bit upset with me saying this, but they are physical therapists. They're doctors of the body.
Okay.
And they should be able to help you get out of any problems that you get into. If they can't, then they'll obviously send you to someone who can. And it's probably going to be a bit darker than just musculoskeletal.
Okay. Okay.
So that's the biggest difference. Originally, osteopathy, the philosophy of osteopathy was that they were looking to move the body and joints in a way that would help stimulate blood flow through the body.
Okay.
Primarily. That isn't how it works now. They're looking at all the different systems of the body. And chiropractic started 150 years ago with a guy called David Palmer. And he was trained with osteopaths.
Yeah.
And he understood the body. He was a very highly educated man. And he decided that the reason why people were getting ill, the function was dropping with their bodies and the pain, was because the nervous system was being affected. So the nervous system is what looks after the body as a whole.
Right.
It's the top system. It's the master system. It's the thing that looks after all of the other systems. So by adjusting the body, you're waking up the nervous system. So if we look at someone who is terribly old and they look dysfunctional, we'll just say it's because they're old, but maybe it's because they're suffering from a very dysfunctional nervous system.
Okay, as a result of aging process and your body, or a life of whatever you've been doing.
If we're looking at the outside world, we're looking through our eyes. That's how we see it. But if we're looking inside our body, we don't use our eyes, we use our nervous system. And the nervous system is what appropriately helps our body function. Okay. So some people's
obviously
body...
a nerve, like when you're moving something, or when you go to touch something hot, the nerve is what sends the impulse to tell you to either take your hand away.
Absolutely. So the reflexes, etc. So the nervous system, what is it? It comprises of the brain.
Mm-hmm.
It comprises of the spinal cord and the nerves that come from the spinal cord to go to every cell in the body. Okay. So these are all facts.
Yeah, yeah, can't argue them.
Yeah, can't argue with that. Even Plato knew all about this. It's very old. It's facts. So the nervous system. So people think, what does the heart do? Well, it beats the blood around the body. Okay. What does the liver do? Cleaning blood, etc. So what do they do that on their own, or are they a machine that the nervous system operates? Right. They're a machine that the nervous system operates.
So if the machine isn't working properly,
yeah, it's because the nervous system isn't able to appropriately send that signal. So why won't it send a signal? It won't send a signal because maybe the tissues around the nerve are up in let's just use layman's language. They've been squeezed, maybe with tissues around it, like muscles, that are very taut, and they're squeezing, preventing a nice flow, a nice clear signal coming from the brain through to wherever it needs to go, which could be a muscle, a joint, a ligament, a tendon, all of the connective tissues, the bones themselves. The nervous system at the same time is also looking at the health of the body. It's looking at how many white blood cells have you got to fight and attack disease and illness? How many red blood cells have you got to carry oxygen throughout the body? All of these things are really very, very important. And if the nervous system isn't working well, then you're going to find that your white blood cell count might drop, your red blood cell count might drop, that your liver's not working well, that you're not able to go to the toilet properly on basic levels, all of these things. So it might not be the muscles around the area of the anus, for example, while you're struggling with going to the toilet. It might be that your nervous system isn't seeing that area properly. It's been blindfolded from that area for some reason. Okay. And so chiropractors and good osteopaths are looking to make sure the nervous system's working correctly.
Okay, so it's almost releasing that, allowing that flow of...
Letting the energy flow through the body.
That's right, properly. Okay, so going back then, so you went to America, you see this doctor, he says, I can't see you for more than a couple of times while you're here, and then you...
The first thing I did was what most people would do when they've had a life change like that.
Did he actually make you feel like
I received the relief that I needed? For the muscles were relieved. My body moved better than it did, and over the next couple of days, I don't like using anti-inflammatories, but I was in so much pain at the time. They just help bring down the inflammatory response to the problems that I'd given to myself. Through working too hard. Often that's why people get into problems, isn't it? Because they've done something to themselves. Yeah. You know, that they've been training
too hard. They pick up a weight. They pick up a weight too heavy or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's not always happens because they've done it purposefully. It can be an accident, they trip, a fall, anything like that.
Yeah. Okay. Hence the reason why with the gym you need a PT.
Yeah.
That's always a good idea. Someone who can watch you and make sure the form's correct. So I decided when I was in America, I would get in touch with the universities in the UK, of which there's 3. There's one in Bournemouth, there's one in Wales, and there's McTimoney Chiropractic University, which is the college in Abingdon, Oxfordshire, and that's where I trained. So as soon as I left America, I went for the interview. It all happened within 4 weeks of seeing Dr. Ray in America, the American chiropractor.
So you gave up blacksmith?
Pretty much. I found work for my employees, and I decided to give up what I was doing and make a whole. It was time for a new change, a new vocation, and instead of repairing inert objects, stone and buildings and gates and fitting glass, it was time to start repairing something very much more important, which for me was people. Okay. And see if I could achieve it.
And you have done.
Yeah. So I received my master's degree from McTimoney College, and working now. When you qualify as a chiropractor, you qualify to use the title doctor, which is very nice. Yeah. Not that I use it very often, but it's one of the few professions in life where you have the title. You're given the title of doctor. without doing a doctorate.
Yeah. Okay.
And this is something which is historic. It's something that's been fought for probably, I think it's 30 years they fought to get the title of
how long's
doctor.
the course? How long's the course?
So you're looking at 5 years master's degree,
Okay.
which is running through all of the same qualification, the same exams as a GP would do. So you're looking at physiology,
Yeah.
pharmacology to a certain extent. Obviously, doctors go on to do their bolt-on with pharmacology in much more detail. But chiropractors, what we're looking to do there is to look at how the body works.
Okay.
And to see how we can actually make it work better.
Make it work better. Perfect. Okay. And so now, been there. You then worked in the big clinic, and then 2 years ago set up for yourself.
Yeah. So 2 years ago, I decided to move back. I've got my children live in Northamptonshire. One of them got married a couple of weeks ago, which was great. A few tears there.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah. Lovely.
Yeah, so it's been a great month so far. And obviously being here today, speaking to yourself, Alex, makes this year even better, certainly this month. So
great to have you.
Where we went with this, for a moment, I forgot where I...
So you've been doing this for 2 years in Daventry. Super busy.
Yeah, absolutely super busy. Got a bit emotional there thinking about my daughter's wedding.
That's all right.
Yeah. The business started 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Just after the pandemic sort of ended. I've never been so busy in my life as a chiropractor.
Okay.
We've got all sorts of logistical problems at the moment with health. I think we're all aware of that.
As in the NHS and...
Well, don't want to mention it too much, but yeah, you did.
Yeah.
And the service that people are needing at the moment is they're needing help.
Yeah.
And they need more than what they're getting. And there's only so much that we can do with painkillers, and a lifetime on painkillers I don't think is going to do our livers and kidneys any good at all, let alone the rest of our systems. So people are looking for help. And they're looking for someone they can rely on and someone that they feel actually cares. And that's people like chiropractors and osteopaths, and some of the other physical modalities are useful as well. You know, interestingly, people would think that going for a massage might be able to fix their problem.
Yeah.
I get that a lot. And yoga. Yeah. Yoga's going to fix my problem.
I always thought that chiropractor was about... So from what I understand, what you were saying about, there's lots of ways that chiropractic treatment can help, not just muscular and for me, I always thought it was purely, you've got an injury, you go and see a chiropractor, who's going to sorts out your back or your...
crack.
Yeah, exactly. So explain then, it's not just about those treatments for popping backs and things like that.
No, going back to what I said before about the nervous system.
Yeah.
The nervous system can keep you alive no matter how damaged it is for a very long time, but it doesn't mean that it's reached its highest level. What we're looking to do is to always be optimizing your nervous system. So the difference between really bad health, okay health, good health, excellent health, optimized health, is actually what you're doing with your body.
Okay.
How much effort you put into your vitamins, your supplements, your exercise, things like having massage occasionally, maybe once a month, that might be a good idea. Seeing a chiropractor to make sure that your joints and bones of your spine are actually in proper alignment so that your nervous system can work appropriately.
Okay, so if your bones, let's say your spine, which forms up part of your nervous system, isn't in line, what other things that can happen? Or what are you saying that, okay, let's say I have a fall and I put I step and I'm a bit jolted. That, are you saying, because my spine might become a little bit unaligned, I'm not saying it's going to be, totally out, but a little, that can affect then what might happen to my muscles a bit later on in the day? Or is that what is...
So an observation I can give you straight away. There's lots and lots of research, peer-reviewed research. Peer-reviewed research means that it's been looked at by other doctors in the health profession.
Okay.
So if chiropractors have made research on what we do as chiropractors and how we move the joints and how we move the bones and how it affects the nervous system, if it's been peer-reviewed, which there's loads and loads of research out there that explains how that chiropractic does actually work. It is actually helping our health through the nervous system. Peer-reviewed research can explain lots and lots of things about how the body's working and how chiropractic can actually help. I've noticed there's an observation that when we get people in, they come for a consultation with me. The first thing I do is I take their blood pressure to make sure that it's safe for them to receive adjustments on their joints.
Okay.
So what we're doing, we're taking the blood pressure, and often it can be quite high for some people. As an observation, I've noticed after we've taken the blood pressure and I've adjusted them, sometimes I'll take it after the blood pressure has lowered.
Okay.
So that's an observation that any chiropractor will tell you is fairly normal. If at university, one of the things they like to do as research projects is they'll do an eye test for clients that come in to be adjusted by the students who are about to leave, graduate as chiropractors. They'll do a normal eye test like you get at the optometrist. Yeah. And after the eye test, they'll be adjusted within 10 minutes of the eye test. And then they'll be asked to do the eye test again. And there's often differences. Nearly always. Enough for them to do it time and time and time again. So does it mean that the adjustment itself, we know just where to go to make the eyes work that little bit better? Absolutely not. Not saying that at all. What we're saying is
changing the nervous system.
Suddenly the nervous system has been woken up.
Ah, okay.
Do they need to wear glasses again? Of course they do. It's a temporary situation. Yeah. But ultimately, they're the sort of things that, so people can understand, wow, we're affecting the nervous system in a huge way. And the amount of stories that you have worldwide of people that have been trying to use fertility clinics, all sorts to try and help themselves get children. And then starts to go and see a chiropractor, he or she, generally she. And very shortly after the story, they'll come back and say, I got pregnant. Does it mean that chiropractic will help you get pregnant? No, but again, possibilities that the nervous system has been changed and things have been able to see. But the amount of people that come in and say, do you know, I didn't want to tell you at the time, but I've been constipated for years. And then suddenly come to see you, everything's clear. Yeah, everything's clearing up. I'm feeling better. Everything's moving in the right ways.
Okay.
But these are common things. They're very common. Okay. But of course, if you think about what we're trying to achieve, we're trying to wake up the nervous system.
Yeah, trying to wake up those sparks.
Of course, it's going to be along those lines. Things are going to be changing to our health. That's what we do it for.
Okay.
Waking up the nervous system, waking up someone's health.
So, let's say somebody's got let's use me as an example. I've got a bit of a shoulder injury. Okay, I've been to see you now for the last about 6 or 8 weeks or so. Yeah. And yes, I definitely feel like there's definitely improvements, definitely. And I had a hip problem, absolutely. I haven't had any hip problems since I've been seeing you.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's all clear now. Yeah. So I've hurt my foot today, but that's a different issue. If somebody has got, let's say, a dodgy shoulder, what sort of thing, how would your initial consultation go to check what was going on, and maybe what sort of things would you be asking to find out about maybe how they've got that injury and things like that? You know, just so people get an understanding of how a session with yourself would go.
Okay, so in the initial consultation, before you even put your hands on someone to see if you can help them, what we're looking to do there is sit down at a desk, and I'm looking to ask them a few questions really to find out what's going on with the body generally, how they're moving, what makes it worse, what makes it a bit better. How they got it in the first place. You know, was it a fall? Yeah. We need to work out whether if it's been something quite recent, whether there's a possibility that it's a fracture. In which case, I'm not going to be touching that.
No, of course.
Or anywhere around it.
Of course.
In fact, I'll be sending them somewhere where they can get the appropriate help that they'll need for a fracture. But providing everything's good, it's not a fracture, it's something like soft tissues, then I'm looking straight away at the spine.
Okay.
So once I've gone through the normal questions to make sure it's safe to do so, I'll be asking them to sit down on the table, which is where I do my work. Yeah. They'll be sitting down on the table, and I'll be looking to see what position the spine's in, to see if it's in alignment, to see if it's in the shape that I would expect a normal spine of that particular person's age.
Yeah.
I'll be looking to see if it's in the right position.
Okay. So the spine does change as we age, just as a result of our bones get older and we get older and we maybe stand in a different way. You know, if you're tall, you might have stood like this for ages. Okay, fine.
So if we look at the spine, the biggest problem we have with the spine, obviously, we've got an important part is the spinal cord within it. That needs to be kept safe. That's why it's within those bones, the little holes at the back of each one of the vertebrae. So we wouldn't have a problem with our spine if it really was a backbone, which is what we call it, isn't it? It's the backbone. It's not a backbone at all. It's backbones.
Yeah.
And we have an awful lot of them. We have 7 small bones in our neck.
Yep.
And then we have 12 bones of the thoracic spine, which are the ones that contain a rib for a rib cage.
Protect our ribs.
And then we have 5 little bones that are the lumbar spine. Mm-hmm. So all of these need to be in the right place, in the appropriate place for the spinal cord to work fast. Mm-hmm. And so that the right movement is allowed, and also so that the nerves aren't being impinged around the nerves coming out from the spinal cord. If we have a problem with something like you've suggested, a frozen shoulder, then I'm going to be looking to look around the area here between the lower part of the spine of the neck and the upper part of the spine of the thoracics, the vertebrae that carry a rib. So with this area here is going to be an area that I'll be looking to see if it's in alignment. And often, if people have got shoulder problems, it's not.
Okay.
But so if you go to have a massage, then someone's going to be looking to massage the shoulder.
Yeah, of course.
A chiropractor might look to do that, but certainly is going to be looking first to see what the spine is doing and see what the nerves are doing coming from it, and seeing if there could be a small adjustment to the vertebrae within the area, the offending area. Yeah. And then to see whether when it settles down, whether suddenly the shoulder starts to work better and more appropriately. If there isn't a problem with the spine, then we can do an adjustment on the shoulder itself.
Okay.
On the
shoulder
humeral
might be,
head, it could be the shoulder might need a small adjustment to put it back into a position. Not the Mel Gibson type situation where he's the shoulder goes out of position on one of the films and he slams up against the lamppost, but just a soft adjustment, which we do on the table itself, which is all nicely cushioned, with just an impulse.
Okay.
And that can make a massive difference as well. But there's at least 10 different adjustments you can do on the shoulder depending on what's actually happening and what the movement's like. So we can do a test before we do the adjustment to see what the range of motion is. Yeah. And we can do a test of the range of motion directly afterwards. Okay,
cool. And is there things that people can do themselves at home to try and improve the movement of the flow of those nerves so that their central nervous system or their nervous system is working better?
Lack of movement causes lack of good health.
Okay.
So if we look at people these days during retirement, I'm going to go off piste a little bit here.
That's all right.
The lack of movement that they're having at the moment, and certainly through the training that they've received through lockdown of non-movement, stay in your house, you will die if you leave your house.
Yeah.
And we're still dealing with those problems now of people not coming out, not moving, not walking the dog anymore.
They're now saying that sedentary lifestyle is the next biggest like obesity problem.
Yeah.
Sedentary lifestyle, people not being active enough.
Sitting is the new smoking.
That's exactly it. Sitting is the new smoking.
Absolutely. And do you know what? I think smoking is probably better for you than sitting.
Okay.
So if they're going to choose one or the other, choose smoking. Obviously that's a crazy thing to say. Yeah. Delete that. Yeah. But lack of movement. So even if people are going to stay in the house, I would strongly suggest that they do some sort of exercise regime. But better still, get out of the house. Yeah. The summer's coming anyway. Get moving.
Honestly.
Go to the gym.
Walk. Or walk. Just start. I was saying the other day, just start by walking. Try and get 10, 20 minutes a day. Even if you break it up in the day, you do 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes in the evening, just begin like that and gradually build it up. Get out there, get fresh air in your lungs, bit of vitamin D from the sunshine, and start moving those muscles.
Alex, isn't it hard to get people walking? I know. Honestly, put your coat on. Oh, it's been raining. It's I know. It does rain in this country. You chose to live here. Put your coat on.
Walking is, honestly, I've been doing walking and I'm actually moving off piste myself. On Sunday, I'm doing a huge challenge for Macmillan, raising funds for them, doing 100,000 steps with my brother, walking around London. Because
Brilliant.
actually just moving, just
Yeah.
walking, getting out there, there's things to see. You don't have to go and walk. You can drive somewhere and walk around somewhere pretty, or you can literally go out of your door. It's free. You don't have to do anything. You just need
I
to
didn't know
start.
about this. How do you join this?
What, the free walking?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
you just turn
Oh,
up on the day.
No, it's me. I'm doing it on my. We've just done it ourselves.
Brilliant.
We're just doing it ourselves.
So you've
It's a
organised,
challenge
amazing.
that's on. It's all over TikTok. People trying to do it in a day. You get 24 hours to do it in. So we're starting 5 a.m. Sunday morning, Mother's Day, and then walking. We've decided we're going to walk from. I've got family in North London. Walk all the way to Central London, and then back again. So it's a challenge. I think we can do it. We can rest on the way. You don't have to continually be walking. So I'll keep everybody updated as we
Yeah, definitely.
as we get on.
Put things on TikTok.
Yeah, of course. Things on TikTok, Facebook, all over the place, so that people
Subscribe,
can see.
share.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Share. That's what we like. So how do you keep fit?
Once a week, I go to. I have a personal trainer.
Yeah.
That I go to see, where we're doing lots of functional exercises,
Mm-hmm.
kettlebells, etc. And I like to do that with a personal trainer because they can watch my form. Because it's for people that train themselves. It's I was doing okay at home. You're on lockdown, and I was doing yoga videos and stuff. And then one day I hurt myself. It's because you're doing it on your own without anyone watching your form. Even yoga can cause problems if you're doing it without people making sure that everything's been you're moving correctly.
Right. That's right. So that's what I remind all our girls in our sessions. Keep that the form is the most important thing. It doesn't matter. You can smash those reps out, but to be honest, first thing you've got to think about is your form.
Yeah.
Tummy's tight, bottom squeezed, shoulders back. Take it steady. So boxing, you said personal trainer and
Skipping.
skipping. I love a bit of skipping.
Well, it's something which I've just started again. I haven't done it for 10 years.
Oh, okay.
And so I decided I'd start doing a bit more skipping. So onto Amazon, bought my skipping rope.
Yes.
Decided it was going to buy a £6 one or a £29 one. I thought, you know what, I'm going to push the boat out. I'm going to spend £29 on a skipping rope. So I've started doing that every other day.
Okay. Bit of cardio, good for the heart as well.
Yes, and obviously where I'm working at the moment, Reach for Health is where my clinic is. It's within it's a council supported gym for people who've had some terrible accidents, motorbike accidents, or old people might have fallen down the stairs, to people, everything in between.
Okay.
And all ages. There's people there that have no problems at all. They just like to use that particular. It's a huge gym in there. They use that, but mostly the people
So
that are using it.
rehabilitation.
Yeah, rehabilitation. But people have been sent there by the doctor.
Yeah.
So I also use that gym as well.
Okay.
I would use yours, but the ponytail looks funny on me these days.
I was going to say that. Those skimpy lycra outfits, they're not quite the same now.
Yeah, and I may be starting doing some running later in the year.
Okay.
I've been thinking about.
Do you like running?
Organising. I've not enjoyed running for about 7 years.
Oh, any particular reason you don't?
I didn't enjoy running.
Did you ever enjoy it?
No, I did.
Okay.
It's like everything, isn't it? When you first start getting yourself fit, it's a little bit painful, and it takes that bit of internal
that first
integrity.
mile on any run is the longest mile you've ever run.
Yeah. And for me, I started off like your girls do, I expect. When they first start, you start them off small and gradually build the fitness up. And the thing I didn't like about running is it's something you do on your own.
Oh, okay.
And often I like to do things with at least one other person.
Okay.
Or a group.
Okay.
So that's why I have my PT now with and the boxing and the pads, and that works well with me. Also,
I like to run.
How
like to
often are you
run.
running?
I try to run once a week, but I try to run for about 45 minutes once a week. That's all I do. I walk a lot of the time.
Is that about 3K?
No, 45 is 7. 45 minutes is at 7K.
Wow. So
I can, I feel quite comfortable doing that.
Yeah.
And actually, as long as I've got my music or someone to chat to, I find...
so you run with someone else?
Often I don't. Often I run. Not a lot of people like running. A lot of people say they don't like it. But I quite find it quite a chill out time. Any sort of exercise for me is about my time, and that's the way I look at it. It's about me getting away from work or kids or whatever.
Clearing your head.
Clear my head.
Body meditation.
Yeah, basically.
meditation for the body. No, I think that's the way forward.
Yeah. So for me, a run on my own is actually quite nice. I can turn the music on. I can go out. I can go and do 45 minutes of running and then back. So, that for me, I know I've run a lot in the past. I don't run as much now, but that's purely because I just haven't had the time. Running does take time. And if I'm going to do something, it wouldn't necessarily be first on my list to run.
How did you get yourself fit originally? What was your story?
So I'd always been a gym girl, but I put a lot of weight on when I had the children, and I needed to lose it. I didn't like being overweight, and I wasn't grossly overweight, but I was overweight for my size.
Lost your strength.
Yeah, all of that. And so when I first did it, I started by walking and eating properly. And then we set up the gym really because I was looking for somewhere to do things it was when CrossFit was becoming really popular. And my husband would say, like, I want to change my career and I want to do this. And we then started the gym because I was kind of looking for somewhere to be able to do the crazy fun things that they were all doing CrossFit in an environment where it was women. And so that's how it really started in a field. And we just gradually grown and grown and grown. So
you started in a field?
Yeah, in a field.
So it was an outdoor...
It was, yeah. We're not now. Everything's indoors because we know that women most people don't want to be looking out in the cold and the rain.
The rain, yeah.
Yes, and for a lot of the time in this country, there's a lot of rain and wind.
How many gyms do you have?
15 franchises now.
Wow, it's amazing. And how fast did you grow that?
So we started in 2012 in the field, and we had our first location, which was Northampton, in 2013, and then after that we then were one gym up to 2017, and then from 2017 to now, so 6 years, we've gone from 1 to 15 now. And
during that time, how many gyms have gone?
I know.
Down? It's amazing.
Honestly, and the thing is, it's sad to see. It's an industry that's so important, and especially in COVID, it was terrible. It was terrible for a lot of gyms, and now with all but
how did you make it through COVID?
We have a fabulous community of women, and we work very hard to keep that community by offering online sessions and hiring out our equipment so that people could do things at home. And we tried to run as close to schedule as we possibly could. But it was tough. It was really tough.
I don't think there's any tougher thing you can go through than COVID for any business.
Any business.
But especially
a
gym.
Yeah. We were the first to shut and the last to open.
Yeah.
But our ladies are amazing, and they stuck with us, and we had an absolutely fabulous community of women who were with us through absolutely brilliant. I cannot fault all their effort, all of the input that they had, and it was tough doing the online sessions, but we got through it, and people used it as their, especially when it was at the point where you couldn't go out. The feedback we got was that people needed that as their mental health check-ins, because they weren't seeing anybody. So on a session, you'd have everybody on the screen and you could see everybody, and they were involved and they could chat to their friend because they hadn't seen them, and so it was lovely. Yeah. It was great.
And to grow, you either did it through advertising or referrals, I guess.
For the
gym.
You're
going from the first gym to actually building up.
So we work very closely with my husband's got a lot of contacts in the industry as well, and we have got some one of the ladies, one of the franchisee owners, she was a member, then she worked for us, and now she's got 3 franchises. Bella, obviously, she was a member, and then she's now got the Daventry. Yeah, she's got a Daventry. We've got guys up in Wakefield and York who had worked with Rick, my husband, previously. So there's lots of different connections. We've got Dion, who actually, again, we went through a marketing campaign, and she's in Luton. So yeah, it's been,
and the clients as well.
Yeah, clients predominantly is probably social media contacts or referrals. We work a lot to engage with we think that we work very hard in engaging with our audience to give them guidance, help, support, things that we offer, and they come through lots of different channels.
Yeah. Well, certainly.
What about you? How do you get your... 'cause yours are predominantly word of mouth.
I would say at the moment 50-50.
Okay.
2 years ago when I started, it was mostly primary way of getting clients was through Facebook because
Yes, well, yeah.
and we worked, by the way, all the way through lockdown.
COVID, yeah.
Because we were the only doctors that people could actually see, but doctors of chiropractic.
Oh.
So, but people would, if they were worried, they couldn't see anyone else. They used to come to see us. You know, we were looking at a general health check, and if we found something that wasn't right, then we'd be obviously referring them to the appropriate places. You know, that wouldn't necessarily be someone who was going to be looking at the nervous system, but maybe they might need medication. Yeah. Which I think is actually at the moment massively overused. I think functional medicine is the way forward. So keeping your body healthy, keeping it moving, supplements, vitamins. Keeping your body fit, keeping your heart fit. Okay.
Are you a supplement advocate or?
I think that some supplements are really, really important. I think for me, I certainly suggest to people that need it, that come see me, zinc, magnesium, iron, certainly fine. And it depends on culture as well. D3 is the biggest one. Yeah. The biggest one. Then following vitamin C. I mean, people do vitamin C from lots of different places, but vitamin D3, you know, it's a really strange thing. So, I get plenty of sun and say, do you? Well, I'm out in the garden. Yeah. Were you wearing clothes?
Yes.
Yeah. So, you know, you don't get me wrong. A certain amount of the sun's rays will go through the clothes, but
not enough.
Not enough. You're basically looking to soak it up through your hands, I guess, aren't you? You're looking to soak it up through your hands and a little bit of your face and with your little eyes poking over the top of your scarf. Vitamin D3, most people during the winter time are definitely going to be low in it. And that's for the white Northern Caucasians,
yeah,
you know?
Exactly.
But of course,
did you know, I heard this on another podcast, that actually people with light white skin are more like, will absorb and create more D3 from being in the sun. Yeah.
Well, I certainly find that some of the other cultures, different genetics that comes in, that aren't from the genetics aren't from the Northern Hemisphere originally. These people, so for example, I've got a couple of friends that come see me. They were born and raised in this country, but their genetics are from India. Yeah. For me, it's a no-brainer. They're going to be vitamin D3. It's going to be insufficient. Yeah. They'll need to bolster that. And the minute they do you know what wonderful thing happens? The pains start to drop.
No, do you know what that's what this guy was saying on this podcast. Most people should be taking D3 to avoid all the jointy, achy pains.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Everyone will jump on it and go,
that's what I need. I'll just need some vitamin
D3. No, it's one of the solutions.
One of the things.
It's, you know, on the journey of health, it's one of those where there are so many different ways that you need to utilize to get your health to its optimized level. And who'd want just good health if you can have optimum health? That's the way forward. It's the way forward.
So obviously there are some naysayers out there about chiropractic treatments. What would you say to people who are like, I'm skeptical on whether or not it works? Or
well, naysayers, that will often be some GPs, I'm going to have to say, are naysayers. Yeah. Even though all the research tells us that why chiropractic works. Obviously, a good place for people to go to if they're suffering from leg pain, they can't move very well with the lower back, then these people would, you know, it's going to be a chiropractor. Okay. That's what they're looking for. And that's what the GP will say, if you've got lower back pain, you could go and see a chiropractor. But the amount that will just give out medication for that, painkillers. And what do painkillers do? Have they ever moved a joint, a muscle? A ligament,
it's a blocker, isn't it?
It's just a blocker of pain. There you go, take those and go, well, I'm sorry, but I don't see that as being health. Okay. I can't see any way that fits into this health cycle. To drop down an inflammatory problem in the short term, possibly, it can be useful. But most people, it's in the consultation that any doctor should be doing, whether it be a chiropractor, an osteopath or a GP. How long have you had this? And if they're saying that they've had it for the last month, 2 months, 3 months, then obviously the painkiller might not be the right way forward. They might need something different. And physios these days can do some wonderful work. Yeah. So we haven't spoken about physiotherapy. No. A lot of physios. The work that they do is amazing. More functional, trying to get the body moving better. Whereas chiropractic is about them specifics of looking what joint isn't moving, how we can move it, and how can the brain see it better.
And how can we free it up to move better using
Once
those?
the joint moves, the brain sees that it's moving.
Okay.
And then can use it appropriately. So that's
that connection is made brain to muscle or joint or whatever it is that's not flowing.
Yes, exactly right. So I mean, if we looked at it in more detail, I'd just like to sort of go through that. If a joint's not moving, it's generally because there's been an incident, an accident, an allegation. There's been a problem. Someone's fallen over down the stairs, fallen off a curb. Nan fell over down the steps.
Yeah.
And straight away, the brain sees there's a problem there. Mm-hmm. The nervous system then kicks in and stops the muscles from moving around that joint, just in case it's very, very bad. What might be very bad? So like we might have a break, a fracture.
Yeah, okay.
So straight away, the muscles will shorten.
Protect it.
Yeah, the master system, the nervous system has stopped it from moving the joint. Muscles shorten, bring the disc, squeeze on the disc if it's the spine, stops that from moving. We have a great mechanism for that. But we don't have a great mechanism for, it's been 2 weeks now.
Yeah, it's not released. Yeah, okay.
So that's what a chiropractor does. We're looking through the spine and looking to find those areas that aren't moving. And a lot of my clients will say, yeah, I can crack my back. And that's good because I say, whereabouts are you getting those cracks? Because I'm interested, not because they're cracking the area that needs to be done. They're getting relief from it, but that's not the joint that needs to be moved.
Okay.
That's normally the joint above or below it.
Okay.
The one but they're still getting some relief. Mm-hmm. So what I'm looking to do is find the one that's not moving, do a manipulation on it, painless, fast manipulation. Don't straight away that joint starts to move. The nervous system recognises it, starts to use the muscles appropriately, and then over a period of a few weeks, that should start to become normal. It will normalise. We'll get rid of that inflammatory response within the body. What is an inflammatory response? On very basic terms, it's an area where your brain, your nervous system is sending in more blood. Why is it sending blood? Because you need more oxygen, building blocks of repair. So it can repair the area. That's inflammation.
Okay. So that's why you get a bruise and things like that.
Yeah. Okay. It's inflammation. So that's a really good idea to keep inflammation sometimes. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily to remove it. We look at it as being a bad thing, inflammation. Inflammation can be very important.
Perfect. Well, I think it's been really interesting to speak to you, Alun. Where can everybody find you to get an appointment if they're in Northampton? If people are interested in seeing you, where are you based?
So Daventry Chiropractic is you'll find us in the clinic, which is in the Reach for Health main clinic in Daventry.
Perfect.
The main address is just simply put in Daventry Rugby Club.
Yeah.
And you'll find the car park there, and we're within that. Perfect. And it's the large
like green and grey building. Yeah, green and grey building.
And you find me on Facebook.
Perfect.
And some of the other,
Instagram and things like that. Brilliant. Well, I want to say thank you very much for coming in today. It's been super interesting to talk to you. As I said, I have had treatment from you. I've been brilliant. My hips love good. And it was great to speak to you. And ladies, I hope you found it interesting. And if you're in Northampton, you're interested in seeing Alun, we'll leave his details on the podcast info, and we can you can get in contact with him. So have a lovely couple of weeks, guys, and we'll be back soon.
Thank you.
Thanks.